In a small town nestled between two mountains, there was a forest known as the Whispering Woods. Locals spoke of its beauty during the day, with sunlight streaming through the leaves and the sweet smell of pine in the air. But when night fell, everything changed. The whispers began. Many dismissed the stories as mere folklore. However, Sarah, a curious girl of 16, had always been drawn to the woods. She'd heard her friends talk about the strange voices, the feeling of being watched, but she was determined to prove that the woods were nothing more than an overgrown thicket. One evening, armed with only a flashlight and her determination, Sarah ventured into the Whispering Woods. The sun dipped below the horizon, and shadows crept among the trees. As she walked deeper, the atmosphere thickened, the air heavy with an unshakable sense of dread. She could feel the whispers begin, soft at first, like the rustling of leaves. Sarah, a voice called, distant and echoing. She paused, her heart racing. It was her name. How could it know her name? She brushed it off as her imagination and pressed on, telling herself it was just the wind playing tricks. As the moon rose, the whispers grew louder. They intertwined with the wind, a cacophony of voices that seemed to call to her. Some sounded like her friends, while others were deep and menacing, scratching at her sanity. She turned, searching for the source, but found nothing but shadows dancing between the trees. Suddenly, she noticed a path she'd never seen before. It twisted and turned deeper into the woods, shrouded in darkness. The whispers intensified, urging her to follow. "Come closer," they beckoned. Against her better judgment, Sarah stepped onto the path, her flashlight flickering as if warning her to turn back. The deeper she went, the more the trees seemed to close in around her. Their gnarled branches twisted like fingers, reaching out as if to ensnare her. The air grew colder, and an oppressive silence enveloped her, the whispers fading momentarily into an ominous stillness. Sarah felt a knot of fear in her stomach. Something was wrong. She turned to leave, but the path had changed. The trees had shifted, blocking her way back. Panic set in as she stumbled through the underbrush, calling out for help, her voice swallowed by the oppressive darkness. Then she heard it again, clearer now, the voices merging into a single, resonant chant, "Stay with us, stay forever." Terrified, she pressed on, fighting through the brambles until she spotted a faint light in the distance. It flickered like a candle, offering a glimmer of hope. But as she approached, she realized it was not a light at all, but a figure standing among the trees. It was a woman, her face obscured by shadows, long hair cascading down her back. "Help me," she whispered, her voice both sweet and chilling. "They won't let me leave." Sarah hesitated, torn between the instinct to help and the instinct to run. The woman extended her hand, eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. "Join me," she pleaded, "it's safe here." With a sudden jolt, Sarah recalled the stories, the ones about those who had gone into the woods and never returned. The whispers grew frantic, pressing against her mind, trying to drown out her thoughts. "Join us, become one with the forest." In that moment, something inside Sarah snapped. She turned and ran, branches tearing at her clothes, the whispers now screaming in rage. She felt the presence of the forest closing in, the darkness eager to claim her as its own. Finally, she broke free from the trees and stumbled into the clearing where she had entered. The moonlight bathed her in relief, and the whispers fell silent. Gasping for breath, she turned to look back, but the forest stood still, the shadows retreating into the darkness as if nothing had happened. From that day forward, Sarah never spoke of the Whispering Woods. The townsfolk noticed her change, a haunted look in her eyes, a shiver that ran down her spine at the mere mention of the forest. They thought she'd seen something unspeakable, and in a way, she had. But sometimes, in the dead of night, she would hear a soft voice whispering her name, calling her back to the place that almost took her. And in those moments, she wondered how long it would be before she could no longer resist the pull of the woods, before the whispers claimed her once and for all. Like, follow, and